my girls emceeing it, moderating it, and everything else, and the people up here are great people. So this one is finding your way to you. This is going to be about you and how you're finding your way to yourself. Like I told you yesterday, was all about the professional. Now we're going inward, okay? So talk about you. All right, so Amanda is like the resident hype girl for the Houston Latina collab. All right, yes. Amanda's a community builder. Literally, it gives her life to hype other people up. Yeah, it really does. Like, so I feel good doing this because you're just like, Regina, go ahead. Now I'm like, Amanda, let's go. Okay, so as she grows and understands who she is, she likes working with people, sharing her experiences, and helping others grow. She supports local music, local artists through all of the connections that she's made. If you want to follow her on Instagram, it's Hype Girl Mindset. Hype Girl Mindset. But also, don't forget the page in the book. You can scan and find all of these beautiful people. Creating spaces for others' ideas to flourish and remain worthy is her jam. So without further ado, I'm handing this over to Amanda.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Legina. That was an awesome introduction. I am humbled and excited to be asked to be here to moderate for you guys today. This panel is outstanding. I've taken some time to kind of like look over their Instagram pages and read their websites and get to know like how they got to where they are today, and it's pretty impressive. You've got some really good resources here, so I'm excited to talk about it. Like Legina said, I am community strategist, but resident hype girl for Houston Latina Collaborative. We were Houston Latina bloggers. We just rebranded. We're trying to be more of a resource. We don't want to, we still want to work with our blogger community and our influencer community, but our biggest priority now is to have people come and join our community, but we want you to take things away. We want to teach you how to build your brand. We want to teach you how to help your small business. We've got some amazing professional resources, so check out Houston Latina Collaborative, and then I'm done talking about myself because this panel is outstanding. So the first person I'd like to introduce, I'm just gonna introduce by name. I'm gonna give them an opportunity to kind of tell you a little bit more about what they do. I'm out of order on my cards, but I do remember this is Katie Bowman.
Hey, everybody. So I am Coach Katie P. I'm Katie Park. So excited to be here, and I'm so happy to see your face in the place. So I am a personal growth coach. So I'm all about helping you elevate to your next level of success. I also call myself the self-care strategist because through effective, I want you to lean in on the key word, effective self-care is how you're able to release what no longer serves your well-being and be able to develop some effective self-care that's gonna allow you to become the best and highest version of yourself. Who in here wants to live a life of extreme happiness, right? A life of abundance. So that's what it is, right? So then also, and I'm gonna tell you this because we're talking about finding your way to you. I'm a mom, a blended family of 5. Youngest being 6, oldest being 31. I also co-own a business with my husband called Video Plus Entertainment, and this is in the audio and visual space. So I'm telling you to say this, and also I volunteer for various nonprofits, but the reason why, as women, and men too, but I'm gonna lean on women a little bit, we wear many hats, and you cannot put us in a box, right? It's not this or that, it's this and that. So, all right, I'm gonna pass it on.
Wow, that was amazing. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tafari. I'm a behavioral specialist, amongst many other things. I work in schools. I supervise, I train case managers to go into homes, go into community settings to help work with children on behavioral problems. Also, I sit on the board for Say Hi Youth Fitness Center, where we specialize in African-centered martial arts and helping children, applying mental health strategies from that aspect as well. I'm also a part of a gardening program as well. We help kids to work on their mental health issues through getting their hands into the soil and growing something.
Right.
My pleasure.
I got one.
Oh, sorry.
Top of the day, everyone. My name is Brion, Brion Robinson, but I go by Brion. I am a manual therapist and body worker with the Institute of Integrative Health Specialists. I'm the clinical director. I'm a doula, I'm a energy practitioner, and so much more. Let's see. I love what I do. I am pretty aggressive when it comes to your self-care. I won't work as hard as you do. Right? You have to match what I bring. So if I give 100, you give 100. If you give 50, I'm going to give 50. It is imperative that you care about your health just as much as me. Just like we would die for our kids, we have to live for our kids.
Absolutely.
So I speak life into every one of my clients from 0 months, because I am a doula, all up until they transition to death, because I work with them as well. So that's my goal.
Greetings, my name is Danielle Bowman. I'm a licensed professional counselor supervisor. I work with children as young as 4 years old, all the way up until you're 18, adulthood, things like that. I work with people of trauma who have experienced trauma, not only just the kids, but adults who have experienced childhood trauma as well, because as we know, we bring in what we have experienced in childhood up until our adulthood. So I work with all ages, families, individuals, do groups as well. I'm also a certified yoga instructor, and incorporating that into my practice and helping people learn to move and flow that emotions through their body until and be able to release it. Because as we know, stress and emotion settle within our bodies and we feel it, and our bodies gives us those signals that sometimes we ignore. And so I work with my families and I work with individuals to help identify those and then release them in the most appropriate and effective ways.
Thank you, guys. Welcome our panelists, you guys. They're amazing. Okay, so today we're talking about finding your way back to yourself, which is, I do believe that as long as you're on this journey, like it is a journey, it's a marathon, you don't ever get to check out, you don't ever learn all the tools, you don't ever get there. You got to keep going for it. And so one of my biggest questions for you guys to start off with the audience is, I feel like when you're working with children, adults, and you're working with their mental health and you're helping them and you're coaching them, there's got to be something inside your heart that brings you to this work, because this is true work, and you are also putting your mental health at risk, putting yourself out there helping others. So I really, that's why I look up to you guys. This is it's such a big thing. It's a service to your community. So we'll start with Miss Katie. I would really just like for you to tell the audience what that is, what that spark is in your heart that brought you to what you're doing today and how you're giving back to the community.
Absolutely. So what it is, first and foremost, it's all about God. It's about what God has placed in my heart. It is a calling. It is my purpose. And like you said, it is, it is definitely a journey. And I truly believe through different life experiences that I've navigated, the ups and downs, and you start to realize that nothing is actually really failure, right? Failure, we fall forward. It's really about the growth. It's about the strength. It's about the endurance. And everything that God allows us to go through, it's never for just yourself. It's for that next person, so that you can be able to empower and to encourage and uplift them. So in my heart, it's all about empowerment. It's about giving back. It's about serving to the highest capacity. I believe in servant leadership. And it's about making sure that you're pouring into your community. Our youth are our future. And it's really about you also walking that walk too, right? Because like I said on yesterday, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught, right? We do teach, but at the same time, you have to practice what you preach and you have to live that life. So I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to give back in various different ways. I work with several different nonprofits. One of the things that I'm truly passionate about, every Thursday, I go to a recovery house, and it's like a halfway house also, and I work with women who some are still incarcerated. They're overcoming addiction, and they're dealing with different things and challenges that has happened in their life, but I get the opportunity, and I say I get the opportunity because it is a blessing for me to be there, where I get to empower, encourage, and mentor them and learn and remove the judgment, right?
And how much do you learn from them as well as you teaching?
So much, because actually that's when I say remove the judgment, because sometimes we don't realize we do. And I understand that a lot of times it's your environment. And there are different things that has happened in their lives that has caused them to make certain decisions. And it's not who they're meant to be, right? Because God has a purpose for each and every one of us. So that's a little bit of my heart.
Well said. For myself, if I understand the question correctly, what led me to what I'm doing?
Yes.
Awareness, just knowing, being aware of everything we're dealing with in this country, culturally, historically, spiritually, financially, on a nutritional level, all the wars that we have to fight made me to stand up as a warrior and do something about it. And the best way I can do that is by applying my time, my energy, my God, to everybody I see that's in need. Starting with self first, of course, and then from there outwardly. I call this profession that we all in on this panel is a healing profession. We're healers out here.
Yeah.
And there's a sickness out here that we experience, all of us on different levels. And it's beyond economics. No matter how much money you have, the sickness is still prevalent. And so I take it upon myself, that's the mission, that's the banner I fly, in order to create a better reality for self and everything that's around me. I'm a father, so I'm trying to create a better reality for my daughters.
Absolutely.
So they have a better chance to strive.
Let's see. Spirit led me. I didn't have like a transformational event in my life. I hated my job. Spirit kept calling me to go into massage. Had no interest at all. And I finally did it, and I've achieved everything I've ever thought I wanted to achieve. I can say first and foremost, I am grateful for the amount and the support of women that I've had in my life to be able to pour into me, to be able to pour back into the community. I work with predominantly veterans, and as you guys know, they are not one of the easiest demographics due to their past. However, I learned so much from them. Not because they're older, but because they literally all have a perspective that I've never heard of. I've seen so many people, I can say that about my doula clients. Everyone is completely different. I have an experience from every last client I've ever seen in the last 5 years that I can recall to be able to relate to someone else, because although I've not been in those shoes, I can at least do my best to empathize and sympathize. I have in my mind an altruistic goal to be able to want to just help people. I want more people to just want to help people. As humans, we are born with one ability, and that's to ask for help. So if we don't ask for help, who are we harming? Ourselves. That's what self-harm looks like first and foremost. So I'm really big on just help. If you see somebody drop a pen, help them pick them up. Even if they beat you to it, help them out.
Yes, I love that.
All right, well said. So being a counselor for me, being a therapist, just kind of landed for me. I think my whole lead and the things that I do is about alignment. You know, everything that I've done, even when I didn't realize it, was like connected to everything. My undergrad, for example, was in zoology, which is way over there. But then it all connects in what I do, because it's all about, you know, kind of learning yourself, learning the behaviors and things like that. So there was a lot of just alignment, letting things land. When I forced it, it didn't work out for me at all. But when I allowed it to kind of just land for me and like go with what, I guess you could say, felt good, what felt connected, things really went for me. One of the, I think, statements that just kind of, it's quotes just kind of stay in my head all the time as I try to decide what to do, is, we were talking and everyone kind of spoke on like the higher power and God and things like that. Someone once told me that your talent is God's gift to you. And what you do with it, what you share with it, is your gift to God. And so I have kind of been led through that with everything I do. How do I share this gift? You know, and then recognizing the gift and the connection that I have with people as the light and as divinity within me, and how do I share it with other people. And so that kind of leads me, and that kind of keeps me going, because as you said, it's all about helping people. And so I have that as well. I want to help people. That's that spark. When someone's in the chair and I'm talking to them and they have an epiphany, or they're like, oh, I don't feel that anymore, or I did this, or I went outside when I couldn't go outside before. You know, that spark that they have is in me as well, because we're all connected. Even as we sit in this room, you know, the energy that we have with each other is all connected. And then that's on a metaphysical level, but also on a scientific level, mirror neurons, we all connect with each other. You know, our nervous systems connect with each other. We play off of each other. And so as we continue, and as I continue, that's what I choose to be. You know, I try to share the peace that I have with other people, and that kind of leads me to do the things that I do. Did I answer that question?
You did.
Okay.
You did. You know, if there's one thing that you guys can take away just from this little bit of them talking about the sparks in their heart, if there's something inside of you that you're maybe a little nervous, you know, or you don't want to say that, like, let these 4 people, 5, be a testament to just being yourself, putting your special feelings out there. You may be allowing somebody else space to do the same thing, and you have no idea that you've made such a big impact in their life. You know, one of my favorite quotes that I can't take advantage of, or it wasn't my idea, but I saw it online or on a quote or something, but it said, "This is not happening to you, this is happening for you." And I say that to myself all the time, whether it's something good that's happening or something, especially when I'm having a low time, right? Don't be the victim. Let's figure out where we're going to grow. And that's hard. That's hard, right? That's just, we want to put some bullet points down on where you want to be when you're having a hard time, but we're emotional beings. So when we're having a hard time, we're not worried about the bullet points. We're expressing ourselves, we're letting it out, we're crying, we may be taking it out on people around us, we may be using, we may be doing things that we know are detrimental to us, but we are hiding ourselves from really facing what's happening so we can move to the next level. So I don't even know where I was leading into that. I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I know you guys, we've already said this too, but I know you guys have special mentors in your life. You said you were raised by some really amazing women that have poured into you. I lived with a lot of men. My dad wasn't around. My mom also has poured so much into me that has allowed me to be this person. She's like, "I can't believe that you would do this and this." And I'm like, "But this is how you made me." Sometimes I have to remind her, right? I don't know if you have to do that sometimes when people are like, "Slow down." So I want to move into the next part of more about yourself personally. Like I said at the beginning, in order to be a community servant on this level, helping people overcome traumatic experiences in their life, addiction, breaking generational curses, you guys, that is painful. I mean, if you're really gonna do the work, you're probably gonna be the most unpopular person in your family while you're doing the work. Right. And that's hard, but you gotta keep pushing and know that there are other people out there that are doing it, so every time you feel like you wanna give up, just remember that there's some other people in silence that are doing it. Changing your life, what else was I gonna say? I'm so sorry. A little excited. So bringing yourself back to you at the beginning, what I had said about how important it is, you guys have got to have some sort of personal self-care things that you have to be committed to yourself to do in order for you to pour back into the community. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about, let's start with Danielle at the end. We'll switch it up a little bit and tell us about what Danielle does for herself. What do you do for you? So that way you're full and you're whole to give back to the community when it's time to your job.
Okay. There is a plethora of things that I do, but one of the biggest things is I kind of, and this is something that I'm continually growing in, and the journey in is connecting back to me, connecting back to my body. What is my body telling me? A lot of times we are kind of on autopilot, you know, kind of because, you know, we have survived moments, just to kind of dip a little bit into therapy a little bit. In childhood, you know, we tend to have to kind of grasp on however we can to the caregivers around us. And that is something that we carry into our adulthood. And so we're still out here grasping, you know, and just living the life that we can grasp and surviving that. And so sometimes we go into autopilot and doing that when we're not picking up the connections that our bodies are telling us. And so for my self-care, I take time out to connect with me and say, okay, what am I feeling in this moment? You know, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether, you know, my knee hurt, why is my knee hurting? Whether there's like tightness and things in my body, and then I go off of that. So if I feel tightness in my body, maybe that's time for me to do a little stretching, you know, do yoga, of course, I do yoga. Some grounding, you know, in the mornings I do meditation. And not like 20 minutes or anything like that. I know people think meditation, that you got to sit for 20 minutes and things like that. No,
Meditation can be anything that's helpful to you, whatever calms
Yep.
you down.
Meditation is anything that centers you, you know, puts you back in the moment. And so 5 minutes, at least in the mornings for me, because I have a tendency to, once again, grasp on to everything. You know, my crown is open all the time. And so I take in everything. And so to ground myself in the mornings, to really set the intention for the day. And so that's some things that I do to for my self-care. And of course, when it's time to connect with others, you know, I have this great sisterhood of friends, fellow therapists, fellow people in the healing arts, and just, you know, people that are not in the healing arts, you know, and my actual sisters too. There's one of them over there. And so if you've ever worked with Muriel and just know how much of a powerhouse she is, even though she doesn't, you know, she act like she don't know, but she is, you know, even though she's my younger sister, she is definitely a powerhouse that I connect with and just is inspired by constantly, you know. So that connection with other people is definitely healing, because there's healing in connection. So as you find your tribe, no matter how much, whoever your tribe is, whether it's family, whether it's friends, I have some awesome guy friends as well, therapists and non-therapists. And so connecting with those people, but also having that time for me as well, has been some phenomenal self-care things that I've done.
Balance. Balance is key.
All right, y'all, I have a lot. Oh, geez Louise. Okay. First things first, I'm a big supporter of emotional support animals.
Yes.
Y'all should get one, and y'all should register yours as soon as possible. I have a cat, and I got her during the pandemic. A lot of people got pets during the pandemic because they didn't have connection. Long story short, that's my girl. I love the big cat. So that's something that grounds me, because I'm always on the go with clients because someone's having a baby or I have to go see a patient. She can give me the loudest meow, and I'm like, okay, I need to be present. She needs attention. I need attention. Let's just sit down for
It's a
5
good
to 10
reminder.
minutes. Yeah, it's like 5 to 10 minutes, like, take care of me. And I'm like, okay, let's take care of, let's take care of each other. I'm also a girl's girl. So just like Danielle, I have a lot of girlfriends that if I miss them or I just want to talk to them, I'll just send a message like, I love you guys. Their responses of like, have a great day, I can't wait to hear, or X, Y, and Z is coming up, that fills me up. That's like the Celsius that I need every single moment when I just need to like get like a little fixer-upper. Yeah, it's gonna get there, sponsor me. Another grounding for me is I like to go outside and just stand in the grass. Here lately, because it's so prominent and I have a backyard now, I do it as much as I can, because we live in the city and we have apartments and there's so much concrete and pavement. We don't realize how disconnected we are. So I just like want to go outside, or like literally dancing in the rain. I did that 2 days ago with my best friend. And quite frankly, y'all, it's fun. I know we don't want to mess up our hair, but like just go dance in the rain. It really does feel good. And then when I want to have just time by myself, no cat, thrift shopping. It's like the treasure hunting that I need to just kind of like full out creativity. What can I do? I think I'm on an episode of What Not to Wear. What can I do in 30 minutes to an hour, come out, spend only $30? Those are things that really fill me up. It powers me. I have little trinkets. Literally, I feel like a pirate who got lots of booty. It's just those small things are what remind me. And then I'm able to talk to clients about those things because I can relate all the different things. I found this from 1934, and they're like, what do you know about that? And I'm like, you'd be surprised what I know about that. So those are the small things that just kind of keep me into routine, to just be present and to remember who I am.
That was great. I crack myself up all day. I can't help it. For me, when I think about my own mental wellness, is silence. Just being comfortable, being quiet.
And a lot of people can't do that. I want everybody to go home and this weekend at some point and try to just give yourself 15 minutes of silence. Sit in a room alone. Try it. It is almost cringy. It's a practice, kind of like meditating.
Yeah, it is meditating. I say even, and attached to that is the breath. The breath is the vehicle that we use to go all the way within, like you said, meditating is mandatory. I like to take a moment just to breathe with y'all, if we can. We've been doing it all conference. So let's breathe in, breathe out. Again. One more time. That's what I do. Take a moment to build with yourself. Go all the way in. Affirmations. Early in the morning, first thing. That's my commandments, is my affirmations. Is how I program my day, how I lay out the foundation of my day, how I'm going to interact with people throughout the day. Everything at the end of the day is a reflection of the I. Everybody in here is my reflection. And I see the God in you like I see the God in me, and that's how I approach you. There are no enemies, there's only teachers. There are no enemies out here. There's only teachers. People teach you how to move around them, who they are. They're teaching you who they are and what they need and what they don't.
And in your reflection, you're teaching them how you like for them to treat you as well.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. And also, a lot of times I'm teaching them just how to breathe and be still. Be still so you can hear. Only those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. So that's what I present. Sound and silence.
And also one more thing, like, isn't it almost impossible to have a bad day when you've woken up in a gratitude space? I mean, you can wake up and just be thankful that you woke up. We can just start very simply there, and then it can move on to, I'm thankful for this home that kept me safe last night. I'm thankful for the car that is going to take me to my job. You can go on and on, but for me personally, and I'm sure for you guys, you guys can let me know, but it's impossible for me to have a bad day when I start that way.
Right.
Because you're creating.
You're creating
You create
already.
your own day.
Already, you're creating the space.
All right, so he said sound and silence. I love that. So, and then also, Amanda, you said earlier, and it's interesting that you said it because as you said it, it was in my brain. It was right there.
I heard you.
You heard me, and you talked about it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And I want to share just something really quickly. I was listening, because this is part of self-care, also effective self-care. I was listening to Jay-Z getting interviewed. And we're talking about a billionaire, and we're talking about someone who's overcame so many different adversity, right? It's not how you start, right? It is definitely a journey, and it's how you finish. However, he said that. He said that, and I look up to him because he's someone who has overcome so much, but it's also he's someone who continues to grow, continues to learn, someone who's teachable, coachable, open-minded, willing to listen, willing to be in rooms that make him uncomfortable, right? Because we know that greatness lies in those environments where you get pushed. And you have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So just hearing you say that, and then Tafari, and hopefully I'm getting your name right, said sound and silence. Because effective self-care, I am a self-care strategist, and my personal growth coaching, I use those strategies. It's all about you getting connected and reconnected with yourself. And in those moments where you're able to be silent and get in a place where you're able to be still. And what I'm talking about is things that I actively practice every day.
Same.
This is where you actually get to be able to be back to your center. You get connected. You meditate.
Have to commit to yourself.
Yes.
Make the promise to yourself.
Yes, and you're able to hear God. But you're also able to reflect and look at your life, look at your goals, see where you are, because it's self-care in the moment. That's the thing, that deep work, right, that you have to do with yourself. So for me, effective self-care is soul care. I'm going to do anything that's going to help me elevate, help me always be the best and highest version of myself. It is something, if I was mad, if I was unhappy, the minute I start to do it, I start to feel a little bit of peace. I start to feel a little bit at ease. I feel a release. I let go what is inside of me that's holding me back, right? It's about releasing what no longer serves your well-being so that you can continue to elevate and become the best and highest version of yourself. So effective self-care is actually self-love. And it's about you doing something, because everybody's self-care is not the same. I love getting my hair done. Guess what? But that's not self-care for me. It's part of my brand. It's part of the image. I love it, right? But I also, while I'm there, I'm thinking about 20 other things I could be doing because I might be there for about 4 hours, right?
That's not your space.
Exactly. But it is effective self-care for someone else.
It definitely is.
Effective self-care for me is going to where a bubble bath. I'm gonna use it for an example because I'm a bath girl, where I'm able to sit still, get quiet, hear God, listen in, but also hear my own thoughts. Yes. Remove the stinking thinking, journal, right? Release, ask myself questions about why am I thinking the way I'm thinking? Do my affirmations, right? I am fearfully and wonderfully made, right? I am a strong woman. I am confident, right? I am being and becoming. But why do I do that? Why do I enjoy bubble baths? It's because I'm able to be still, get quiet, hear myself, listen in, release what no longer needs to be there, or it's not serving me anyways, right? It's holding me back, right? It's stopping me from being my best. And then I'm able to get connected, stay connected, right? It's about discovering who you truly are so that you can continue to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. So you have to elevate, climb. So again, self-care is my thing, but the last thing I want to tell you is this: effective self-care. Effective self-care is anything you do that can actually allow you to achieve something. It's about working towards your goals, your dreams. It actually is about elevating you and making you be your best. So you must know what that is. It's important. It's important.
And it's not just doing it for you so you can do it for somebody else. Like, for you only.
Stop. Right. Well, yep.
Yes.
Yep. There you go.
I love it. Thank you, guys. Yeah. We've got a little bit more time, and there's something really important that I wanted to talk about that I'm sure we can all relate to. I'll start with kind of how it is affecting me: breaking generational curses. It's a hot topic right now. I am so thankful it is. I feel like there's been many before us that were doing it that didn't know they were doing it. It's important to know that if you're on that journey, that you're going to be hit with every barrier, every no, every door. People will say, you're changing. I don't like the way you look. You're not like us anymore, because you are trying to shed things that are not going to serve the next generation, your children or your nieces or nephews. Absolutely. It's such a big deal. For me, I'll make it short because I really want to hear what our panelists have to say. Breaking general curses for me and my family is no longer living in a fear-based reality. I do not fear my God. He is not going to punish me. My God is a healing God. He is a loving God. He is a forgiving God. So I start there. That's huge for me. Living in anxiety, living in fear in my family, not communicating about how we feel, also not shaming each other for getting help. Therapy, that's a no-no in my family. Medication, that's a no-no in my family. You don't talk about your business outside of the house. I'm not doing any of that anymore. I have 2 stepdaughters, grown women, 28 and 21, and a son that's 8 years old. And it is my mission to make sure that if there's one thing I leave them with that courage to know that their God is always gonna have their back. If they're having a hard time, they're not being punished. This is a growth opportunity. And don't be scared to speak how you're feeling. Let us know. We can't do anything to help you grow if you don't tell us.
Right.
So breaking generational curses for each one of you guys.
Well, for me, it's really about boundaries. It's about teaching people how to treat you. And, you get what you allow. So me being able to just look back and reflect over looking at different family members, or like my mom, and just seeing different situations that we all experienced, actually. Because if you go to a family gathering, right, it's not just one person experiencing it. It's everybody, right? So it is really about setting those boundaries and really about saying, you know what, I'm gonna put limits. When things happen, right, and sometimes there are things that there's no way you could have avoided it. It's gonna just show up. But you can't put limits on how long you allow yourself to be in that space, to stay in that place, to be around that particular people, right? And sometimes we kind of know there's a little bit of, you kind of know what you're going to be getting, so you should already have those boundaries where I'm going to stay about an hour, or I'm going to show up when it's time to eat. Because if it's anything that's going to take away from who you're becoming, then guess what? You are in control of yourself. You're not in control of anybody else, their behaviors, their attitudes, but you are in control of you. So that's what I think, not think, I know. I know for me is breaking the generational curses.
Excellent. As usual. When I think about generational curses, what come to mind is habits. A lot of people are focused on the goal, right, the overall goal. I'm more focused on the habits. It's the habits that leads to the goal. So that's the habit is the focus. We inherited genes from our parents, our ancestors, features, things of that nature. Also, we can inherit their habits. So if my father is a drinker and I will grow up watching him drink, maybe I need some of that Woodford as well with some ice, which I love. Is the habit, but at the end of the day, if that habit is not giving me the goal, the outcome, then I have to look at it and I have to change that because it's no longer serving me. So the question I ask myself is, what are my habits? And if my habits, are they aligned with the goal that I want to achieve? And that's where the journey begins. Actually, it begins with what you do every day. It begins with what you do when nobody else is looking.
Amen
Do
to
you
that.
like the hard batch or the soft batch of chocolate chip cookies? You know? Yeah, that part. So, and that's what I focus on, is my habits. So that's how I transform myself. Everything is about transformation at the end of the day. For my Christians out here, I was thinking about Christ this morning. Like, people focus on the birth and the death. I'll focus on the journey in between.
The journey, amen.
Because we're looking at transformation from God into the flesh, into man, and then from man transforming back into the God. So transformation starts with your habits alone. That's the number one element a lot of us forget. And I'm gonna hold it right there. Thank you.
That's good.
Okay. Y'all, as a millennial, I think I break every generational curse in my family.
There we go.
I say that like jokingly, but also seriously. I'm not a Houstonian. I moved here from Oklahoma. Went to college and didn't know a soul. I have a great friend group these days. I will piggyback off of Ms. Katie. I have strong boundaries. I'm really big on using no. I said what I said. But I'm also very good about saying yes, just randomly saying yes, because you'd be surprised at things that you get when you just say yes. I'm also really big on habits. If I see that I'm doing way too much or I'm feeling like I'm really out of whack, it's like, okay, let's dial it back. And my family's used to just keep going. Like, we'll push through it. No, I won't. I'm taking a nap. And then we can go back out.
I can relate to that for sure.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for day
1000%.
drinking, but let's take a nap and then go back out.
Just go nap.
So that's something that I think of. Financial literacy. That's something that we didn't really talk about. No, I want to go sit in every free seminar that I can because I don't know what an APR, okay, because it sounds like CPR to me, okay, with percentages. You know, so that's something that's important. I'm really big about going through my family's medicine cabinets and seeing what prescriptions are what. Because when
That's a good one.
Yes, when we are at the doctor, they tell us that it does this, it does that, and the side effects, but you don't know that it goes with this one and it could mess something else up. No, I want to know. Yes. I want to know who the doctor is. I want to know how the checkup went so that I can inform myself to inform them. Because we go into appointments and just not know anything and just say, well, yeah, if it'll help. Well, no, it won't. We're not doing that. I can't have another death on my hands that I could be preventative for it. So I'm really big on, I don't care about whose business it is. I know a lot of people in the health community. Okay, somebody give me an answer. Absolutely. It may take a week or two because we are busy, but someone will give me an answer. Yeah. I go to therapy. Yeah, I went to therapy because I saw it on Insecure. But it matters though.
Whatever it takes to make you take that
really
step.
go. Yeah, and
like I said, we're scared. We're scared to help ourselves because we've been taught shame in that. We've been taught shame in saying, I need help.
I need help.
And it's not, we need to take the shame out of help.
Right. So I go to therapy. I have 2 sisters that go to therapy. I have 5 best friends that go to therapy now. All because they said you made it sound like it was cool. And I was like, yeah. It really is cool. I look forward to seeing and hearing my therapist. It looks like we just having a meetup, and that feels good. I've got my mother to take mental health days once a month. So those are big steps as far as breaking generational curses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, therapy is cool. Like I'm biased, but that's okay. So down at our table, we have a little flyer on generational trauma. And we were asked this question yesterday about how to break generational curses, generational trauma. And so I'm going to just kind of piggyback off of what we said because I thought it was
Yes,
like,
please.
profound.
I missed it, so I'd love to hear it.
But there was 3 words that came up for us: awareness, intention, and grace. Awareness in a sense of you become aware of how those behaviors have impacted you. You know, you become aware of how they've impacted your body and impacted your perception. And sometimes it takes a minute because we can't see the forest for the trees. If we're in there, we're not going to see the whole bigger picture. But when we step back a little bit, when we start to ground within ourselves and reflect and really start to pay attention what's going on in our bodies, what's going on in our thoughts, then we start to realize, okay, this isn't, healthy for me. This isn't working for me. Like, this, maybe what my family has done for so long was, like we mentioned earlier, survival techniques, and I'm no longer in that setting, so I don't have to survive. But how do I get to the thrive, the journey that we were, many of my people have mentioned, And so we start with that awareness of how things are impacting us. How is it showing up for this? And then it comes to, okay, now that I'm aware, how can I change it? What are the habits that, I can do to change? But once you take something away, you definitely have to put something back. Yes. So you have to be intentional because now there's a void. Yes. That technique that you did or that behavior that you had, that thought that you had, that you survived on, for so long that got you to this point, that might be maladaptive right now, but back then it was adaptive. Because you had to, it helped you survive. You got here, it didn't take you out because you did that. So no matter how unhealthy it might have seemed, it helped you back then. So you become friends with it,
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for helping me. Thank you, little me, for doing that for me, And now that we're here, we can do something else. So you be intentional about replacing that behavior with something that might be more healthy. And then you give yourself grace.
Yes.
You give yourself grace. You give, your family members grace. You accept that, hey, maybe they're still in that place, but I'm not. So I can do something different, because, I can change myself, but I can't change them. Absolutely. So I'm going to be okay with coming to eat, and then I'm going to dip. Yeah. Like, right. I'm gonna be okay with boundaries. Okay, I can't do this person for too long, so I'm gonna be here for 10 minutes, and then I gotta go.
But the awareness to know that that's where your health stops.
Right.
That's your boundary.
Right.
That's
that awareness, that acceptance, and being okay with I'm a dip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be all right. I'll see y'all later. But also allowing yourself to feel how that feels. When I leave, how do I feel with that? If I stay, how do I feel with that? And being, honest with yourself, so that awareness, that intention, and then that, grace that comes with, hey, I'm going to be okay with setting these boundaries. I'm going to be okay with the fact that, hey, I might have did this before, but I'm not going to do it now. Hey, they might do it, and that's how they operate, and that's okay for them. That works for them, maybe. But, I might need to distance myself, or I might need to do something else, or maybe I need to grow in another area. Right. So,
and it's the acceptance of not feeling like you need to change that other person either.
Right.
Like, worry about yourself. Yep. They're not marrying you right now, but it's not your job to fix or change or to entice them into behaving differently. That is not on you.
And then as you change and as you get better for you, you start to plant seeds in other people. Absolutely. Either they're going to connect with you and kind of align with you, or they're going to fall off. Because maybe they're not in that space right there, and that's okay.
If you're lucky, then they'll circle back around when they get to that space. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that peace within you spreads to other people, and that's the point. You embody that. And so, and then that connects with who it's able to connect with and who's on that, frequency level, however you want to say it, with you, because then you're aligned with that person. And then if not, hey, that's all right. It's okay. Like you said, they might circle the block again.
They just needed one more ride around.
Maybe it's needed. So, but that's how you break that.
I love it, you guys. Do you feel like you're getting some good takeaways? I love it. Thank you guys for sharing some personal stuff with us today. I want to give everybody an opportunity to either speak something. We would love to bless any kind of goals that you have. We would love to put good vibes and energy on that. We'd also love for you to ask questions. If you have any questions or get any more additional resources, of course, they'll let you know before we leave, but everybody's information is in your manual, how you can find their websites and their businesses, as well as just follow them on social media. But we're going to open up the floor for you guys to join in on our conversation. Who's going to be first?
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
I just personally don't have a question, but I just want to say to each of you, you were all phenomenal. I have taken away something from each and every one of you. Like I feel supercharged.
That's wonderful.
Right now because of everything that you've shared, and each one of you have authentically shared that. No matter what this person said,
Yeah.
you weren't influenced by that. You were each your authentic selves, and you can see that you showed up. And I've been blessed, even you too.
No, thank you.
Okay, but
I'm the lucky one.
so much. Thank you for what you shared.
Thank you, sis.
Who's next? Who's next?
Come on, y'all. Y'all know.
So thank you again. It was invigorating for sure. So breaking generational curses for me is big. I wrote an entire book about my family, disclosing our family secret, and it was so liberating. But I also got I got shunned out
Oh, I'm sure. A lot of pushback.
from my own family. And, I haven't spoken to my sister in like 2 years because she was upset on the stuff that I wrote in the book. But the power that I got from doing that is, you just I can't even explain it because I now have the ability to touch, move, and inspire people who grew up the same way I did with incest and molestation and all, alcohol and
And now you're in control of your narrative. Nobody else is in control of your narrative anymore.
And so, breaking generational curses for me just touches in a whole different level. So thank you for that conversation.
That's magnificent. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I'll be speaking on resilience like tomorrow. So you guys
I won't miss that.
the whole shebang. So yeah.
A beauty in that is just what comes to mind is excuse me, I'm sorry. Is you giving voice to the voiceless with your story. So people who've been through it, who didn't know how to talk about it or how to deal with it, you have given them that power.
Yeah.
So give thanks for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
You know what? I want to say something really quickly because we were talking about finding your way to you. So I have a question for all of you out there. When you look in the mirror and you look at your reflection, who do you see? Do you see someone that you truly believe in your heart and love and know that, you know what, I am operating at the highest and best version of myself. I am being my true authentic self. When I show up in the room, I show up as me. So I want you guys to really think about that when you do that interpersonal work. You wash your face, you do your whole, because, part of self-care is also our regimen, right? We got our moisturizers and all that good stuff. But I want you to think about that. When you look in the mirror, do you love who you see?
I have a, oh,
I was just going to add something to that because I think that's so important. And I heard recently in the practice that I've been doing daily is we choose our thoughts about ourselves as much as we choose the clothes we put on our body.
That's good.
So like looking in the mirror, I try to actively think, what do I want to feel about myself today in this space or this space? And put more control and intention.
Could you guys hear her in the back? What she said was, tell me one more time, I want to say it verbatim.
I choose my thoughts about myself as much as I choose the clothes that I
She chooses the thoughts about herself as much as she chooses the clothes she puts on every day.
Beautiful.
It's that much of a priority. It's that special. I did a small practice. I've been really afraid to do this for a year, but I'm going to tell y'all, I'm putting it all out. I did this little practice the other night, and I had read about it. And so I was like, I'm going to do that. And so I had washed my face. I was ready for bed. I was a fresh face, and I got very close to the mirror, and I addressed myself as I was not in my body, but I was talking to the actual body that was in the mirror. And I talked to my inner child. And I told her how proud of her I was. And I mean, I didn't even get 10 seconds into talking to myself, and it was a wrap. And I felt it. I stayed there in that moment. I felt it. When I was done, I wrote down some things, but it was so powerful for me. If that's anything you guys want to maybe secretly try, it changed my life in that moment. And I had waited a year to do it. I knew it was going to bring emotions, but it was beautiful. And I felt healing feelings from that. My inner child I was like, girl, I mean, look at us. Like, be proud. And it was moving. It was really moving.
I have something to add to both of those as a practice that you can do with yourself. You know, kind of sit with yourself, you know, meditate, whatnot, breath work, you know, focus in on the breath and things like that for about 5-10 minutes. And kind of ask yourself this mantra: I am, and see what downloads. I am, you know, fire, you know, or like my name is Danielle, so it's your name. But when I do it, is, you know, Danielle is, you know, and just allow what comes up to come up. And if other thoughts happen, you know, let the thoughts come as and go as fast as they come, you know, just let them release. But focus on that and say that I am as you breathe, you know, and see what kind of happens. You know, yesterday I did it, and I don't know if any of y'all listened to Duran, and his Mango Butter song popped up, the chorus, and I was like, okay, ancestors, this is what you got going on today? And as soon as I started doing that, but that chorus came in. If y'all know the chorus, I'm just gonna let y'all listen to it. I'm not gonna say it out loud, nothing like that. Then you're gonna be like, this is what your spirits be doing? This is how I set up for the day, you know. And today it was, you know, I am knowledgeable. Danielle is knowledgeable. So as you allow those, you know, affirmations to come in and, you know, download and things like that, just allow it to just settle in, you know. Settle in. I am such and such, you know, and it's gonna all come together. So, you know, definitely practice that. 5 minutes, then you can grow to 10 minutes, then you can grow to 15, you know. Do you?
And I want to add on that for just a minute because I love it, because we were talking about earlier self-care in the moment. That's self-care in the moment. That's, you know, that is taking care of your mental and your emotional well-being. So when you're reaching a moment where you're feeling like you're not enough, you have self-doubt, you have worry, you're feeling ashamed, or you're feeling I can't do it, right? You start to instantly gain your power and your strength when you start speaking I am. So I thank you so much for sharing that. It's great.
Most definitely.
As a massage therapist, do you have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
No, we want to hear.
Go ahead.
Well, earlier you guys were talking about setting boundaries, and I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on, like, as we talk about generational patterns and generational cycles, there's like a silent obligation sometimes forms in you where you feel like you have to do something, like with your family or be of support, but you're also trying to work on your boundaries. And I know that comes up for me a lot. I'm like, I know I shouldn't do this. I need to stick to my guns here, but it's like a silent obligation in you that feels like you should show up in that way. But just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, just kind of how to go through that.
I think we're all busting to say something.
Are you a millennial?
I am.
Okay, I relate to this as another millennial. First and foremost, I'll tell myself I don't want to do this. I want to go ahead and voice that, because when I hold it in, I'm still...
Say it out loud.
Yeah, I have to be able to voice that. I'll even tell whomever, hey, I really don't want to do this. However, because I love you, I also want to show up in the same way I would want someone to show up for me.
Oh, that's
right? That honors me, that honors whomever that is. I win, and I've still been able to, I held my boundary to, like, well, I'm only going to stay for 45 minutes. I know you wanted an hour and a half, baby girl, I got to go. You know what I mean? That puts it to where that obligation lessens to when you get to saying no, they honor your no, right? Because some people don't hear your no. They want to hear a no but, or a no but why. It's no. Mm-hmm.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I do that as well, but I also am like, I could do this, and I know I can't, because some of it is because, like, you know you can do it. So it's like, is it, you have to, like, check in on yourself and make sure your mental health is well. But sometimes it's like, I can do that, get on my schedule link for next time,
Yes.
that stuff. And so be like, yes, I can do this, not this time. You've got to be too late. You know, something like that too. I do that as well.
I want to add to that and say, before you answer, pause and breathe.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when we are in, that's a very impulsive action because we're
wanna be
playing off of
reactive.
our survival.
Yes.
You know, because we are playing off of that grasp that maybe that's how we had to go and operate for such a long time. Because I mean, it's your family. You know, whether it's mom, dad, caregiver, grandma, cousin, whoever it is, it's been like that for so long that naturally our bodies just go, I can do it, let me do it. You know, because it's how we have been doing it for so long. You know, it's our survival technique, it's what we do, it's our comfort zone. It might be unhealthy, but it's also our comfort zone. So in order to change it, you got to give your body that time to settle first because it's automatically going to go. And so pausing and breathing allows your nervous system to come down, you know, because your nervous system has slipped into what's called a sympathetic nervous system that tells you to go. And so you want to slip back into the parasympathetic nervous system that goes to rest before you answer that so you can answer very clearly. So before you give that answer, you know, sometimes people want it right now. You can be like, hey, give me a moment. Let me let it settle. And I have to do it too. Sometimes, and people know when I kind of blank stare, that's it's the weirdest thing because I'll just sit there and right, but that's me kind of like letting it settle because I'll automatically go into, I guess you even say defense mode.
Yeah.
Because it's a threat. Like, what you trying to get me to do? And so I have to calm it down, take a couple of breaths, and then answer. You know, because now you can answer from what's best fitting for you versus what has been a habit for so long. Yeah.
And it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
It'll be a process and a journey. Don't feel like the first time that you step out of your comfort zone and you say no or you set a boundary, you're gonna be on your way. You'll have to probably do it another dozen times before you feel so confident.
To add on to that, practice it. Practice with little things. You know, practice with, coworkers, friends. Practice saying no to just random things that you would say yes to so your body can get used to what that feels like.
You guys, thank you so much for being here for this panel today. Please, a round of applause for these awesome folks that we had join us today. We have Danny, Brion, Tafari. See, I keep getting it wrong. Thank you for correcting me. And Miss Katie.
Yes, and real quickly, you can follow me on I am Katie Parks on IG, Facebook. You can actually follow me with LinkedIn or connect, Katie Parks, all right, and book your 30-minute free discovery session.
You want to say where they can follow you? I mean, everything is in the program, too. We ran way over, but this was such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Tafari, correct? Tafari. Why do I keep saying Tafari, right? Okay, so Tafari. I still